Do this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, running for the upcoming March primaries, running for Lake County Board.
Lake County Board.
He's my guest, Democrat.
Yep.
All right. He's my guest in the GMAP Broadcast Network studios on today. Let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Vance Wyatt. It make you feel like you want to go dunk a basketball. Oh, my goodness. This is good stuff. Man, I tell you, it's an honor, a privilege, and a blessing, man, to have you join us in the studio on today. Welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network, and we thank God that you took time out on your busy schedule to stop by the studio today, man.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure.
Honor.
And, you know, I'm reading up on you here today, Vance, and, of course, you're a young person. Mm-hmm. You're a young guy, and you've had quite a bit of experience.
Yes.
In the past. Why don't we do this? Why don't we first and foremost have you introduce yourself in such a way where only you can.
Okay. And
tell us where you're from, and give us a little history about how you got to where you are.
All right.
Why don't you do that for me?
She's back. Gospel music and promotion is sharing.
I mean, do that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So I'm from North Chicago. I'm actually a second generation North Chicago high school graduate. I'm class of 08. My mother was class of 1980. My father was 72.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
So I am the baby of my family.
Okay.
And actually my whole generation, ironically, because we have a cousin that just retired from Allstate. So that should tell you that, my generation is kind of far apart. Age group. So I've always, I'm part of the grown-ups, I guess you could say. Okay. And I've always have been. Went through North Chicago, did a lot of different programs, played tennis, played soccer back in 8th grade, basketball in elementary school. So I've done a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. And, I decided after I left, I came back, went away for school, decided to come back and run for alderman.
Okay.
Decided to run back in 2010. I was 20 years old at that time.
Wow.
Came back and lost that election horribly. I got 28% of the vote against the current alderman in the 4th Ward in North Chicago. Then I decided to run for park commissioner. And I was running, and this was in 2012 I decided, and I ran in the 2013 election. The reason I ran this was because my father worked for the park district.
Okay.
And I know when I was a kid, we had a lot more programs. So that was my biggest thing, was trying to get more programs, trying to get our swimming pool reopened, and then also trying to deal with some of the issues that they had. For instance, our golf course at Falls Park lost $2 million that year that I ran.
Wow.
So my thing was, well, let's stop spending money at the golf course and losing money there, and let's put it towards our programs for our kids, which to me makes perfect sense. Unfortunately, that election I did lose as well, and I decided to run again in 2015, and I actually was elected. Won by 2 votes and beat a former commissioner that was there for 6 years, the city treasurer, and another former commissioner that was there for 36 years.
Wow. Now, this was for Falls Park?
Falls Park.
Okay.
Yeah, so Falls Park is part of Waukegan, North Chicago, and part of Lake Bluff. It does have a little bit of Libertyville Township and all that area, but those areas don't actually have any residents in. We just have residents in North Chicago, Lake Bluff, and then Waukegan.
I see.
So none of those vote. So, and then I was there for 2 years. First year I was vice president of the board, and then I was elected president the following year. And then right before I became a county board member, I actually was elected to another term for another 2 years as board president.
Wow.
Literally, I think 3 weeks before I was appointed to the county board.
My thing, and how I guess you can say my heart is humbled over what you've just shared with me, is your passion. Yeah. Number one is you didn't let one loss dictate your destiny. You didn't let 2 losses dictate your destiny. You kept striving. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of what our current mayor did. Same scenario, just kept going. Yep. Felt like this life is not over. Yep. And that to me is, I guess you can say, a good sign of a true leader. Because when somebody has the determination to just keep going, as long as he's, I guess you can say, consistent at his decision-making process, just keep going until you get the right decision. you're in a no-lose situation.
Yeah.
So I like that determination about you. I'm kind of, I guess you can say, Vance, I'm kind of like a straightforward individual.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tell people what I think or how I feel, simply because I don't think by telling them anything else is going to matter or make a difference.
Yeah.
I think by simply being straightforward and telling the truth is the best option.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm reading your information. So you're going to be running for, you're going to be on the ballot for Lake County Board.
Yes.
Primaries in March.
Yep.
So you're getting a great start.
Yeah.
District 14, District
yes.
14. Your slogan,
Mm-hmm.
a new generation of leadership.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, as I said, I was 20 when I first ran for alderman. I was 23 when I ran for park commissioner, and then 25 when I became a park commissioner. And then my time there as the park district board president, I was trying to come up with any ways we could actually help deal with our budget shortfall.
Okay.
As you know, with the state, we just finally got a budget after almost 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get any state funding for 2 years.
Wow.
From the state, actually from 2014 to almost 2017. So right after I left the board, we started getting money from 2014 funds. Now,
wow, really?
To just give you an idea.
Yeah.
So the state already, even when they had a budget, they were almost 18 months behind. So I did fail to mention that I was on the library board for 6 years as well. And then while I was at the library, we literally would get checks back to back because the state was so far behind with their payments.
Yeah.
But when I was there at the park district, I was trying to come up with different ideas on how we can make revenue. So one thing I was trying to look at is getting a car wash. You know, we have the old car wash that's on Martin Luther King. I was looking at, can we purchase that? Can we legally purchase it and actually operate it? Well, then our lawyers came back and said, no, you can't. You can't actually purchase it. You can't own one. But then I was like, well, can we own it but have a private company, just control it or maintain it or run it for us? That came back, we couldn't. So I was just different things on how we can actually make different
Generate
revenues.
money, right?
Exactly.
Right.
We have our golf course there, and most of the people that use our golf course come from Lake Bluff, Lake Forest.
Right.
But one thing I was looking at is that we had some empty lot on our golf course that isn't used for anything.
Right.
And it's adjacent to our park. I was like, well, why don't we do some miniature golf there? Well, then they don't want to do. The board didn't want to do that. They didn't like that idea. So what I was looking at doing was trying to get tennis courts there and make them indoors. So there's these inflatable tennis court like bubble structures that you can use that you use during the actual winter. So we could actually take them off during the summer, so you can play outdoors.
So you can play year round.
Year round.
Wow.
And then we could actually, since they would be indoors during the winter, we could charge a fee. A lot of park districts that have indoors, for instance, River Trails, which is out by Mount Prospect, they have them, and they charge about $35 an hour. And if we just undercut, just Lake Bluff, Lake Forest, which is what we do with our golf course, but making sure that we, since it's not a sustainable, or I guess a long-standing building, we don't have the same repair costs that you would normally incur.
Right.
So we can actually undercut them, get more people in there, so we could actually leave them open for 12 hours. And just by, I actually did the math, if we just did 60 or 50% of the time, we would actually pay for the tennis course year one. And then after 3 years, we would actually cover the entire bubble structure costs. And then it would be net profit, everything after that, going forward.
Wow. So I'm at the plan is, I mean, you were really looking into some, generate some finances, some dollars, which is a good thing. This is an interesting concept because I know that for a fact there are some other, some very well-known individuals on the ballot along with you. How do you face a situation knowing that there's some, I don't want to call people heavy hitters because I don't believe in the heavy hitter scenario. I just want to say some very well-known individuals that have some very decent respect in our community. What sets you apart from the rest outside of what you've already accomplished? What sets you apart from the rest with the vision that you entail?
Well, we could just start off by how I got the position, because both of those individuals applied for the position just like I did, to be appointed to the county board. We both went before a committee. The committee consisted of Democrats and Republicans because it's a Republican-controlled board. And, I walked in with my resume and what I did as a library trustee and then as a park commissioner.
Okay.
Both of those individuals came in and, they had letters of recommendation. I didn't have not one. I literally just walked on my merit, which, to me says that I actually, right off the bat, I already had something that offer that they didn't have, period.
Right.
And then you to take the fact that they both announced the day I was appointed. And that just shows that they care more about, that it's not my turn and more about, it's theirs in a sense. And we have to move away from that.
This is mine. This is
exactly.
mine. Okay.
It's kind of like a, 2-year-old that's going through that mind phase almost in a sense. And, we got to move away from that, really, because especially in our community, because we have so many challenges, and we need to move forward. And if we keep on just, having that same old stale mindset or vision, we're never going to move forward because we keep putting plans in place, and then nothing happens. And that was my thing with at the Park District. We have a project to do our beach, which is $600,000. We were trying to get that project cost down to about $300,000 or $400,000 roughly. And the reason for that was we were going to work with Waukegan to get sand from Waukegan, truck it over to Falls Park, and actually replenish our beach that way.
Right.
Build the our break walls out, but by doing it not just by hiring a random company to do it and however much it's going to cost us, but actually using our seasonal staff instead of give them a couple of more weeks of work instead of just laying them off. Help us build it out with our backhoe that we have at the Park District, and just trying to find different ways. And that's my biggest thing is always trying to find different ways on how we can achieve our goals. That's what even at the library. We don't have a lot of money in North Chicago. Our library happens to be the poorest library. We spend $26 per resident. And you take Lake Bluff, that has the budget is almost the same as ours. They spend $126 per person in their community, and we try to do more with less. It's not always easy. So some people complain we don't have every book that they want, but we do have in our library alone. And the other thing is we're looking at how we actually purchase our material is based on what people want and what they need. So they can put a request in, and we'll purchase the book. For instance, we're the only library that has hidden colors 1 through 4. No other library locally has that, and that's it's a documentary talking about our history back in Africa, and it's really important because we're responsive to our in a sense the citizens of North Chicago at that board, and the same thing was being done. We were starting to change that tide at the Park District and being more receptive. For instance, I got it didn't get approved by the board, but I put a proposal up to reopen our swimming pool. So there is the issue with the swimming pool that we have in North Chicago because everyone wants it open. It'd be cheaper for us to build a pool next to it than to fix the current one. So what we were going to do was we were going to turn the current one into a splash pad, and then my proposal that I had was to put on the ballot because unfortunately the board didn't want to they didn't want to vote on the swimming pool.
Okay.
So what I decided was, why don't we let the citizens decide? Why don't we put a question on the ballot, say this is going to cost X number of millions of dollars to actually pay for a swimming pool, then to maintain it per year. So shall we levy a tax to open a swimming pool and maintain it? So these funds would be in a completely separate fund that couldn't be, or it would be called a restricted fund, where we couldn't move money from there to fund other services. So you couldn't do any swaps, which is what Springfield had done in the shape that it's in, and the Park District had done over for years, before anyone was thought of. Because our Park District happens in North Chicago, which is Falls Park, is older than the city of North Chicago. It's 2 years older. So this year is actually 110 years for the Park District, and some of these issues have been long withstanding. And if we don't change that mindset of how we operate and how we do things and go about things, we're going to continually go down the same thing over and over.
That reminds me of something, man. In the church, you got people that religiously go through things over and over. We've been doing this for years. So why change it now? That's exactly why, because you've been doing it for years. A new generation of leadership brings me to that same proven concept that it's time for change. People want new. They want a new perspective. They want a new vision. They want a new focus. They want new direction. And that's what it sounds to me that you would give this particular position. A new vision. I mean, we've sat here and we've talked for just a little time, and I have began to embrace your vision. And I'm looking at some of the information, property tax relief, reduction of, oh my goodness, this is a great one, reduction in recidivism. Everybody that I have been in contact with over the past 6 to 8 months has a focus on trying to find a way to reduce recidivism. instead of just going through the motions, we can religiously walk the trails.
Yeah.
We can religiously go to church and never be saved. You know, so it's time for new. It's time for a new perspective. And I'm loving that because, I mean, you being a young man, you definitely would give us a new vision because your visions are trying to, or basically are overcoming what's been in place for years. You know, and instead of putting someone in there from the past that's a part of the past, I mean, come on, that doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out.
It doesn't at all.
Of course, I've heard you mention about jobs.
Yep.
I think one of the items here that's pinpointed is more job opportunities.
Absolutely.
You know, which is a great thing. Strong economic development. That's a great opportunity. Contracts for local businesses. You just discussed that. You would rather work with individuals in this immediate area instead of going outside of the community, outside of the area, outside of the county, and bringing people in. Why not put to work those that are already implemented in this area and let them generate an income and enhance the development of the city at the same time?
Exactly.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, the money that we would pay out actually goes into that business. That business then deposits it into the bank that's locally, and then that bank actually loans it out to someone else in the community.
Right.
So then it allows your money to bounce and it multiplies. You know, it's a multiplier effect, and it stays within the community. For instance, at the library we have a movie about Black Wall Street, and back during Black Wall Street, due to the segregation aspect of it. You know, our money multiplied 21 times.
Right.
So for every dollar that was invested or spent the first time, it would be multiplied into $21.
Right.
And we need to do the same thing here locally. We have a lot of businesses here that can do some of it. They may not be able to do every aspect of, say, you know, for instance, our beef project. They may not be able to do all of it.
Right.
But what we could do is we could take what they do, what they're able to do, and allow them to do those portions, and then we would outsource, you know, whatever they can do. But the first step is to look what we could do locally. You know, for instance, just doing printing. You know, we have Weekly right there on Green Bay Road in North Chicago.
Yes.
So when we buy business cards in North Chicago, we actually put an emphasis on local businesses first.
Okay.
Now there's certain state laws that say you can't do that specifically, but you know, there's a way that you have to do it, and you have to find the most qualified bidders, in a sense, if it's a big project. But there's ways you can do subcontracts where you actually work into that RFP that will focus on getting individuals from the community to actually do those projects.
Okay.
And then we also have to train them. You know, we have workforce development at Lake County. Instead of spending $20,000 in the jail to you know, lock up somebody,
right,
we take some of that money, send them to workforce development or COC to get a trade or to get an associate's degree, and allow them to actually you know, further their lives. You know, it's $5,000 to go to COC for 2 years to get an associate's degree versus $20,000 to lock someone up. You know, that doesn't make sense, and that's per year we're talking about. So over 2 years where they would have got their associate's degree, we're spent $40,000 versus $5,000.
Wow.
You know, that right there is a savings, which means then you can also lower your property taxes right off the top because of that. Or you could take that $40,000 and then send them off to go get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. And now you're able to educate the community and build it up, because we have all these roads here. And if we teach some kids, you know, how to actually, you know, repair roads, you know, send them to school for that, they start their business. Now we have a local contractor that can do it, and then now that money stays right here in the community, and we use the money that we initially put in, and now we get it multiplies back to us,
right,
to everyone
in our own backyard. That, you know what, and I have never. I mean, it's something that I guess I could honestly say has sat there in the back of my mind. Is how can we make certain things take place? How can we make certain things happen? And that's an awesome concept. Yeah. I mean, all the way around the board, but you know, believe it or not, that's how other people do it.
Yep.
You know, they make sure that what they invest comes right back into the investment. Really. Exactly. So that's a pretty good. If somebody wanted to really reach out and find out what they can do to assist you along your campaign trail, of course, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that just might be tuning in, we have Mr. Vance Wyatt here. With us, running for Lake County Board.
Yep. And I'm actually in their office right now.
Yeah,
I've been in office for 4 months now.
You're the commissioner now.
Yes, currently I am the commissioner.
You're in Audrey Nixon's
correct
seat. Okay.
Yes, I took over for Miss Nixon about a month after, or 2 months after she passed away.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
How did you end up in that seat?
So initially, so there was an application process where we all had to apply for it, where you would go before a committee. I initially didn't plan on applying. Had just got reelected as board president for Falls Park, so there was a lot of things I wanted to work on there and finish up there. But I had a lot of individuals. Even when I was actually going to Springfield to lobby Springfield to pass a budget so we can get some of these big
money.
projects
Right.
And someone just called. Pretty much I had got someone to give me a call and just literally had me on the phone for 45 minutes, just trying to convince me to actually apply for it.
Now you had to apply.
Yes.
To kind of like what Rita went through.
Yes.
And now what Sylvia, now Sylvia Bolton actually went through.
Yep.
You went through the same process,
Absolutely.
and you ended up as our current sitting commissioner.
Correct.
So you had to actually be accepted.
Yes.
This was not like I want that position. Here it is, Vance. You got it.
Yep.
You had to go through a process. You had to. Did you have to literally be voted in?
Yeah. So there was a committee of about 9 individuals. 3 of them were sitting, or 4 of them actually were sitting county board members.
Okay.
One was the party chairman for the county, and then we had a statewide or countywide elected official that's a Democrat there. And they deliberated. They met with all 11 or the people that applied.
That's
for it. So,
where I was going.
Yeah,
there were how many people that applied?
About 11 people.
So out of these 11 people, you ultimately ended up receiving the opportunity.
Yes.
To supersede or replace. I don't want to say replace. Bad terminology.
Yeah.
I don't want to say replace, but take advantage of the opportunity to be placed in that particular position. Correct. Due to an unfortunate situation, of course, but you actually ultimately was the one elected to. That right there, my friend, should, in my opinion, speak volume. I'm sure that someone that doesn't have all the experience in the world as commissioner, because I'm sure you probably had some people out of that 11 that may have had some experience. I'm sure. I know that some of the people that you're up against now has it. They have the commissioner, quote unquote, experience in the past. But for you to be selected out of 8, 9, 10, 11 people should speak volume. Yeah. So that means someone sees the vision. Someone recognizes your abilities. And right there alone, I mean, like I said, I believe in my spirit, Vance, that people are looking for a new vision, a new direction. And in order to get new, you have to start fresh. Yep. So that speaks volume to me. Again, we want to encourage people to get out and vote. Yes. Of course, it says here on March 20th. Yes. So vote for the only progressive Democrat. Yes. All right, and that's you. Yep. And of course, you're stating, and I quote, "I want to continue to serve as our community's advocate." Absolutely. This is some good stuff, man. Yeah. And they can visit your website. Yes. VanceWyatt.com. And that's VanceWyatt. Yes. .com.
And then I have Facebook and Twitter and then Instagram as well.
Okay. Now, if they want to contact you directly, is there a phone number? A lot of I'm old school, man. Yeah. I need to hear a voice sometime, man. I want to talk to somebody. So, is there a phone number?
Yeah, it's 224. 419.
Let me write this down. I'm sorry. 224. 419. 4509. 4509. Yep. I want to be able to share that information with our viewers and listeners throughout the week. Yes. I have opened the door, rolled out the red carpet to let you know that this is a platform that you can take full advantage of. We average about anywhere between 30 and 40,000 people on a monthly, and we want to be able to help share this information. It doesn't matter who I vote for, but what does matter is that people put the right person in the right place. I will be the first one to say when Mayor Cunningham ran up against Wayne Motley, I would be the first one to say I didn't think he would get past him. I would openly say that, even though I supported Sam for what he does, and what he did, but I didn't think he would get past him. So I'm a firm believer that the impossible is possible. I think people are ready to put the right people in the right places. Look at the presidential situation. I think there's a lot of people nodding their head now saying, I wish I had of. Or if I would have known this. You know, so now we're making decisions to put the right people in the right places. Our special guest today, again, running for Lake County Board Commissioner, Vance Wyatt. He's here with us in the studio today. I'm encouraging you that on March 20th, get out and allow your voice to be heard.
Absolutely.
You know, if you had an opportunity, again, Vance, to encourage people before we let you go, encourage people to get out and vote, but more specifically, vote for you on March 20th. I want to give you that opportunity openly right now. I want you to look directly in that camera, and I want you to tell the people, number one, how important it is to just simply get out and vote. Because let their voice be heard is a very, very important statement. And more importantly at this case, why you?
So it's really important to vote simply for the fact that in our local elections in North Chicago, Waukegan specifically, these elections typically are won by 1 or 2 votes. Myself, I became commissioner for the Park District by 2 votes. We have an alderman in North Chicago that won initially by 1 vote. We even had recently in 2017 we had another election where an alderman won by 2 votes. So every vote does count. So every single person that comes out and vote, even if you think that person is going to win, it's important that you get out there and make your voice be heard. And then specifically for myself, everything that I'm running on, from recidivism issues to lowering property taxes for the community, bringing jobs to the community as well. I've been doing as a park commissioner and also as a library trustee. One thing I was working on is trying to lower our age for our employees at the park district and the library down to 16 so we can provide jobs to these kids so that they're not actually getting in trouble and they're actually being able to make money legally, and then they're not going to be going down the wrong path. And I'm the only one that has a real proven record on what I'm running for, and I want to be able to continue to fight for that on the county board level. That allows me the opportunity to deal with our criminal justice issues that we have at the jail, which is under the county. And it's important that if we, as a community, come together, we can actually, really start to see some changes. And by me being in this position, I've been able to work with our school board members, for instance, Brandon from Waukegan, even though I have a really small part of Waukegan School District, but we need to actually work together, even if it's not in our purview as a county board member, but you need to step into other areas and be an advocate for all of the residents in the 14th District, and that's what I have been, and that's what I will continue to be once I'm elected in March of 2018.
That is awesome stuff, man. Again, we want to say thank you first and foremost for taking the opportunity to come out and hang out with us here at the GMAP Broadcast Network studios. Again, I say publicly, this is a platform that will be wide open for you to utilize throughout your campaign. We love and support you sincerely. We want to encourage others to get out and make your voice be heard, okay? Vote Vance Wyatt for Lake County Board Commissioner. March 20th, 2018 is the primary election, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, and of course, I love the slogan, a new generation of leadership. I'm a title person, so I'm always looking at a person, not their title, but what they stand for. It's just like a mission statement for a business. You know, you always look into what they're willing to use as their slogan as they continue to progress a new generation of leadership. And that's exactly what you would be offering and giving to the people in this area. Property tax relief, reduction of recidivism, more job opportunities, strong economic development, contracts for local businesses, preservation and protection of our environment. That's cool. A living wage for workers. And you know what? I would love for people to keep you and hold you to that.
Yes.
You know, we're not just going to vote you in, but we're going to vote you in expecting you to stand on being the person that we voted for. You know, if you want to reach out and communicate and connect with Vance on a social or even a personal level, he is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vance Wyatt, VanceWyatt, of course, VanceWyatt.com. And, of course, if you want a more personal touch of things, you can call him directly. And that number is 224 419-4509, 224-419-4509. One more time. I know your pencil lead broke, your crayon broke, whatever the case may be. You couldn't put it in your phone. You can text fast, but when it's giving you the phone number, man. Let me give it to you one more time. 224-419-4509. Over the next few months, you are going to be hearing a lot from and about this young man. And, of course, again, we thank God for his presence. We thank God for the vision. And we want to show our support by allowing this information to be placed out there into the eyes and ears of the people. So with that be said, Vance, again, we want to thank God for you. Thank you for stopping by, man.
Thank you for having me.
Any last words before we let you go?
We
said it all?
Yeah, we pretty much said everything. That's it.
So we hope and pray that we have garnered your trust and your vote. All right? So until then, we want to say peace. God bless you. Take care. Take it easy. If it's good to you, take it twice. Remember this, if you do not remember anything else in life, keep God first in your life. You cannot and will not ever go wrong. God loves you, and so do I. Believe in your heart. Confess with your mouth that he died on the cross for our sins, rose again on that third day, descended up into the heavens, and now currently sitting on the right hand of God, preparing the place for who? For me and for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll see you next time. God bless. Take care.